Hi everyone, welcome to today's Essatto presentation. My name's Richard Jardine and I'm Chief Operating Officer of Essatto. Essatto has been implemented across a range of industries and customers, including wholesale and distributors, service companies and manufacturers. Today I'll walk you through how Essatto can help improve your budgeting and forecasting processes. I'll use a made-up company called Global Car Sales to demonstrate some of the improvements possible with Essatto. Some background on Global Car Sales. They've recently implemented Odoo v13 to replace their legacy ERP. Essatto is refreshed with data from Odoo and other key systems daily. They have a large sales team distributed across the globe. And Odoo does a great job of managing all their business transactions, but they do have some challenges with forecasting sales. This slide highlights the improvements to the Global Car Sales forecast process before and after Essatto was implemented. You can see that forecasts are now more frequent. They were monthly, now they're weekly. Forecasts are now more detailed. They were by product category, they're now by individual item. Only forecast dollars were previously input by salespeople, but now they input business drivers like quantity and price. Forecast effort has been reduced. Salespeople no longer search for stock information and history in many systems, and forecast inputs are now captured and consolidated automatically. Forecast variance reporting is now more frequent and interactive, and key man risk has been reduced because much of the process is now automated. Essatto includes a powerful budgeting and forecasting module called Fast Budgets. With Fast Budgets, you can create rules to populate budgets or forecasts using actuals, a previous budget or a previous forecast. Creating rules is easy and does not require any coding. Using the rules, you can create many what-if scenarios. For example, we have a product with 3 months of poor sales. What is the forecast for annual margin if we reduce price for this product for the remainder of the year? You can also perform detailed or summary variance reporting against the what-if scenarios that you create. For example, actual versus forecast variance reporting by sales team or a specific salesperson, by product category or a specific product, the entire business or a specific company. Essatto includes an add-in for Microsoft Excel that allows users to report and create input queries to write back data to Essatto. Essatto Excel add-in queries have many benefits. Most managers can use Excel, so Essatto Excel add-in requires minimal training. Stock levels, sales history, prior forecasts or budgets can all be included in forecast packs for reference, which simplifies the forecast process for the manager, i.e. reduced effort because they don't need to refer to other systems to find information. Forecast data submitted by managers is automatically captured and consolidated, improving data quality and reducing required effort. You can use Fast Budgets to create a first cut of a budget or a forecast. Managers then adjust the forecast instead of creating it from scratch, again reducing forecast effort. Consistent forecast packs can be created for all managers no matter where they're located. This helps ensure the forecast is completed in the same way with the same level of detail by everyone. Essatto forecast packs help further automate processes, which reduces key man risk and helps reduce overall forecast effort. In summary, Essatto forecasts help reduce effort so the sales team can focus more on sales analysis and selling, helps keep other teams better informed, like the supply team who can plan more effectively with timelier data, and by reducing forecast effort with Essatto, the business can forecast more often and with more detail. Use Essatto to analyse your data with reports and dashboards. Report via web browser or live Excel reports to answer questions like, why is a certain car model sold more in one country when compared to another? Or how did we compare against industry sales benchmarks in each country? Reports and dashboards are self-service, so users can create reports and dashboards without IT assistance. Reports and dashboards are reusable, so you can reduce the effort required for your periodic reporting processes. For example, produce monthly management reports that are refreshed with live data from Essatto each month. Different users have different input and reporting requirements. Essatto is a trusted central data source, updated frequently to provide different users with a tailored experience that matches their requirements. Some examples for global car sales users are the Sales Manager, where sales staff now analyse their sales trends using powerful Essatto business intelligence reports that provide feedback on performance and future planned marketing activities. The Marketing Manager, who plans marketing activities with confidence, knowing which campaigns have worked historically. They can also monitor the effectiveness of campaigns by combining sales data with marketing data such as website hits, AdWords, and Google Analytics. The buying manager, who can more frequently provide purchasing departments with detailed projected sales information. The finance manager, who can more easily consolidate entities, produce eliminations entries, and drill down from global view to individual transactions. Essatto hierarchies enable central management of the reporting structures that group and consolidate your business data. Changes in an Essatto hierarchy are automatically applied to history, prior budgets, and prior forecasts. This feature can save many hours of effort required to manually update existing reports. Essatto hierarchies reduce or remove the effort required to update existing reports to incorporate new accounts, products, customers, or companies. A global car sales hierarchy example. Global car sales moved to Odoo v13 from an old ledger system and needed Essatto to map 2 years of non-Odoo history from the old ledger with the new Odoo chart of accounts to support both historical and future variance reporting requirements. Essatto can import data from many sources. Essatto includes a connector for Odoo that fast-tracks the process of importing Odoo data. It also reduces Essatto implementation effort by including subject areas that are predefined for Odoo, like accounting and sales. Essatto has a subscription-based pricing model and is available hosted in the cloud or can be installed on-premise. In today's demo, we will create a rolling forecast, create a what-if, submit a forecast as a sales manager, and demonstrate how to map multiple and potentially different charts of accounts. Okay, so let's create a rolling forecast. So I'm in Google Chrome and you're looking at Essatto's web-based dashboard and reporting area. And I've opened some reports and dashboards already that you can see on the page. So just to give you a bit of background about the data that's already in the system, we've got 11 months worth of actuals that have come from Odoo. They're in dark blue. You can see that those actuals are appearing across the 3 different companies. And we've got 12 months worth of forecast, which is appearing in the light blue colour. And what we don't have though is a view of our year-end position. So we know what our 12 months for budget are, and we know what our 11 months for actuals are. But what we need is to basically sum those 11 months worth of actuals with that remaining 1 month of budget to give us a year-end position. But give us a year-end position with all the detail that we need to do analysis around these numbers. So right now I'm just looking at a high-level view of my sales information by company. I'm just going to drill into some more detail. So if we have a look at this information in more detail, you can see that I've got my actuals split by company, etc. Let's just focus on the US, for example. So I'll go keep only US. We can look at a particular month. So maybe we'll look at February. And if I open up some of these other panes, I can change the layout if I need to. I can bring in more information, so I can split or filter this information by customer, by salesperson, and by product, for example. So let's do that. Let's bring in our product categories. I'll just double click that. I'll move scenario to the column. So scenario in Essatto basically denotes all your different types of variance what-ifs that you want to do. So in this example, I've got my actuals, which are coming from Odoo, and I've got a budget scenario that's been previously created, and we can look at those side by side now. I can very easily turn that into a chart if I need to, and I can change the layout of this to suit my needs basically from this point. So I might, for example, make this a multi-chart view by product. I've created some other charts to just give you a quick example. So you can create heat maps. The hot selling products, I guess, are or makes of products are Dodge, Chevy, and Jeep. You can see that they're the bigger red squares. And in Europe, for example, if we scroll down a little bit, Mercedes. Just some other examples of variance by body type of vehicle, for example. So you can see that coupes are the biggest seller across the board. fuel type. So most of the vehicles that have been sold are gasoline or diesel. I've got a budget in the system. You can see that in dark blue, so there's the 12 months worth of budget. And now what I'm showing you is the start of our rolling forecast. So I've already, to save time for the demo, brought in my 11 months worth of actuals, and you can see those appearing there in light blue. But we still don't have that year-end position in terms of that last month of budgets reflecting the forecast. So let me just go across to the data area of Essatto, and I'll take you to fast budgets. So you can see that to build up the budget, I ran a lot of different what-ifs. I'm going to show you how to create one of these what-ifs in the next exercise. And what I've done so far for the forecast is I've seeded it with those 11 months of actuals from this year. And now what we're going to do is seed or populate the month of June for the forecast using what the current budget figure is. So I'll just run that. Okay, so that's now completed. I'll go back to my report, and hopefully what we see is a forecast figure come through that's identical to my budget at this stage. So I'll just refresh this report. Okay, so that's gone through and that looks like it's worked. So we can see that for each company, we've now got our last month populated with the same information as budgets, which we're going to adjust shortly, by the way, which means that we should now be able to refresh our year-to-date report to see what our year-end position is now. Okay, so you can see for USA, it looks like our year-end position is going to be about 3.8 billion. So that's two scenarios there that you're looking at, budget and forecast, but you can create many scenarios in Essatto. So I'll just show you quickly how that occurs. And by the way, everything that I've done so far is end user driven. It's not, or it doesn't require developer effort. So I'm just going to go into the hierarchy section of Essatto. Let's have a look at scenario, which is a common filter across all of the measures in Essatto typically. And you can see at the moment we've only got three scenarios. We've got actual, budget and forecast. So if we wanted to create a budget best case, worst case, etc., that's all fairly easy to do. All I do is right click, go create, and maybe I want to create one called budget best. I'll call it budget best case. I'll add it in between budget and forecast. And there you go. Okay, so let's do the next exercise, which is creating a what if on that last month of forecast. I'll toggle over to the fast budget section, and we're going to create a what if that's the same as this one, where we're going to reduce, basically reduce the quantities of forecasted imported vehicles for that last month of our forecast. I'll go add profile. The profile is all the rules that are used to create a budget and forecast. And that's the what if that I'm going to run. I'll just call this one demo. I'll pick the measure that we're going to adjust, which is quantity. I'm going to do an adjustment. It's going to be a 50% reduction, and there's going to be no amount adjustment applied. And then I just start filtering. So I'll select the time period I want impacted, which is June. You can see I'm doing this at a week level, and that's entirely up to you. So you could do your forecast at a month level, at a day level if you wanted. Company, so we'll pick US. We want this to apply just to the forecast. And we'll pick our foreign cars. Okay, so we want to pick Alfa Romeo and Citroën, which is in product standard hierarchy. So let's drill into this. And we want motor vehicles sold into the US and Alfa Romeo in terms of foreign vehicles, and Citroën. We'll add those two. Okay, there you go. So I'll just save that profile. It's done. So in summary, we're doing a 50% reduction on quantity, which is for Car Sales USA, for our forecast scenario, for all of these imported vehicles. You can see there's a lot there, but we didn't have to pick them all. It was quite easy for us to filter down to just Citroën and Alfa Romeo for the weeks in June of the forecast. So we'll run that profile. Okay, and we'll check our numbers. So I'll go back to the report, do a refresh, and we should see a change here in the last month of the forecast for USA. And there you go. Okay, so this is the Essatto Excel add-in, and I'm going to complete a forecast, or complete the forecast as one of our sales reps, Brittany, and you can see that Essatto has an additional tab on the Excel ribbon. Lots of different options here. The key ones are that you can submit and refresh data back to Essatto. So you can see here I've got a submit and a refresh button here. Brittany, you can see here is the sales rep. You can also see the customer. So this is not just two-dimensional information, it's multi-dimensional. So you've got the company, currency, and all of these things are interchangeable and can be locked down from a security perspective depending on who the manager is that's completing the forecast. The manager also has at their disposal, in this example, the different types of vehicles that they're forecasting. And the different attributes of those vehicles they can filter as well. So if they want to look at specific fuel type, for example, or a specific body type of the vehicle, they can do that. They've got historical information here coming directly from Essatto. So you can see down here that if I click out of that area, it just shows me who the login user is. But if I click on here, it's actually showing me that this is an area of the spreadsheet that is aware that this is a connection back to Essatto. And it's bringing automatically for me the actual quantities that have been sold coming straight from that refresh from Odoo. So the sales manager doesn't need to look for this information. It's automatically available for them to support the process of forecasting. And likewise, they can see all of their inventory information as well, the stock that they have on hand and the stock that they have on order. If I keep scrolling across, okay, I've got this green area here, which denotes that this is an area that can be used to input back to Essatto or submit data back to Essatto. In this case, we're looking at the weeks of June, sorry. And I'm going to be inputting forecast quantities for this example. And I've also got visibility to what the forecast prices are for the same weeks. You can see that these are not in green. So the sales manager in this example has the ability to change the prices, but not Brittany in this example. So what I'll do now is I'll change some of these forecast figures and I'll submit them back to Essatto. But the other benefit of using Essatto is that in this example, we've actually already set a top-down forecast. So if I just refresh, it'll give my sales reps a starting position basically in terms of what the executives have decided should be the forecast that they're trying to achieve or the budget that they're trying to achieve. And from here, the rep can adjust the figures or accept the figures and submit back to Essatto. Okay, so these are the numbers that I've got to start with, the quantities that have been forecasted. I'll just change a few of these so we can see a difference when we go and look at some of the variance reports. So maybe I'll put some big numbers in, so 1,000 units here. You can see that as I change the numbers, the sales rep can see what they've changed, and then they can decide whether or not So this is all just in spreadsheet at the moment, but then they can decide whether or not they want to submit those figures back. So I will in this example, click the submit button, and that's going to write the information back to Essatto, which will then be automatically consolidated across the company structures, the product structures, and all those different ways that we've got to group the business data that we've got in the system. If I scroll back to my report, and if I do a refresh, hopefully we're going to see a spike in June in terms of sales figures. Should also note that I've input quantities, but it's actually the sales that have automatically been recalculated and adjusted. And in this example, it does that all the way to gross margin. And there you go. So that's the impact of Brittany completing her forecast. And anyone who has access to this data automatically sees it. You don't need to wait for any batch processes to complete. It makes the process a lot cleaner, more accurate, and you can do it more often. All right, so now I'm going to walk you through how you can use an Essatto hierarchy, an account hierarchy in this example, to map old chart of account values into a new chart of account. So for car sales, they've recently moved to Odoo v13, but they still want to be able to report historically against their old chart codes. So you can see here that I've got an account structure, and I've started drilling into the profit and loss structure. So you can see that I'm down to gross profit, and gross profit is made up of income and cost of revenue. If I expand income, there's a number of different accounts coming through from the different Odoo companies that we have in terms of income for car sales. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in these old chart values that you can see here on the left, so that anytime that I'm reporting income, it'll actually include the old chart values as well. And for where I'm looking at time periods where that's applicable, you'll see the data for those accounts appearing at this income level. Okay, so I've done that. You can see that they're here. And now what this means is that anytime I'm reporting income across companies, products, whatever, for actuals, for history, for prior forecasts or budgets, that income total will reflect the old or the new chart value as required. All right, so to summarize, Essatto has a powerful budgeting and forecasting module. Managers are engaged with and own the forecast process. Essatto has powerful report and dashboard capabilities. You can tailor your user experience. You can use hierarchies to group all of your business data from a reporting or a budgeting and forecasting perspective. Essatto has an Odoo connector as part of the solution, but you can also import data from other sources. And Essatto has flexible license options. Thanks for watching. Please see our website for more details.
Hi everybody, and welcome to the Q&A session for this presentation. I'm here with Richard and Guy, who are going to be answering all of your questions. So let's go ahead and dive straight in. So from the chat here, I see a question from Noor, who is asking if we can submit requests for budget extension or any change of budgets. They also say the request has to go into workflow and approval process.
Okay, thanks for that question. Whilst Essatto does have some basic workflow built into it, it doesn't have comprehensive workflow capabilities at this stage. You can do processes like locking down particular scenarios. You can basically communicate from within the system on a rudimentary basis, but not extensively.
Okay. And so how is it integrated with Odoo budgeting? What does that flow look like?
Okay, so Essatto is a comprehensive data warehousing platform. So what we've done is we've built the connectors to Odoo. So it's fully integrated with Odoo, and it integrates across multiple versions. At the moment, we cover version 11, 12, 13, and very soon we'll get 14 on the boards as well. Obviously, it's early days, but we will work to roll that out as soon as we have access and can get the connectors done. So yeah, it basically, the way it works is we pull all the data through to the Essatto data warehousing platform. You have comprehensive budgeting and forecasting capabilities in there that do go way beyond the spreadsheet examples and new features that Odoo has just presented in their new version 14. So it basically brings everything across, allows you to do all the things you've seen in the presentation. It's got full Excel integration, both read and write back. So that's one of the big differences between what a lot of other solutions out there offer. We have complete Excel write back to our solution. And the way it gets back into, basically, once all the budgeting and forecasting has been done in Essatto, it can then be written back into the Odoo, the high-level numbers can be written back into the Odoo system.
Thank you. Well, actually, this was quite a short Q&A session because that's all the time we have, but don't worry, we're going to share a Jitsi link with you so you can continue the conversation, and you can also go to their booth as well to discuss with them further. So be sure you go to one of those two places to continue the conversation. Thank you, Guy.
Okay, thank you.